everybody, you're probably wondering, well, Laura, what the hell? You spend so much time criticizing Lily Archer's fanfiction and the fact that she keeps bringing it up and the fact that you need to keep dealing with it. It felt like a curse. Why are you reading this right now? And what I have to say is, this is a marketing tactic. You see, if you are a Lily Orchard defender and you want to say, well, I want to see you do better, then I actually am writing something right now, so link in description. And also, I am starting a series in which I talk about books and I review them. So if you liked seeing me talk about fanfiction, maybe you like seeing me talking about something that's actually good. So why don't we begin? The Sith Ressurgence. I like the cover is pretty. I was actually going to not read this, instead react to this podcast that someone did while reacting to this fanfiction. But then at the beginning they were like, oh my god, because she has this ship, the ship's 1,000 years old, and then they started comparing to a bunch of lore bullshit, and I hate lore, guys. I hate these people in Star Wars who are like, oh my god, here's the lightsaber lore. Oh my god, this Sith was fighting, but he wasn't using one of the pre-approved Sith fighting stances. So I decided to just read the thing myself, and I can't believe it, but the podcast actually missed the fact that she comes really close to doing a sand monologue. You know the sand monologue, the one part that is the most iconic part of all Star Wars media ever. I hate sand. Gets everywhere. But here's the thing. Anakin made that monologue, but it was really clear that had something behind it because he used to live as a slave in a desert planet. The sand was a metaphor for something else. It wasn't just that he hated sand. He also hated living in that planet in his childhood, and he hated his childhood as, you know, being a slave. And so Lady Archer decided to do a sand monologue, but she completely missed the depth of the original sand monologue, so it just looks like a complete fucking joke. So it would be different if this character did live in a sand planet in their childhood and they hated their childhood, and that would mean something. It would be just a copy, not a shallower version of the original sand monologue, but I have insider information that this is not the case. Let's see. She talks about how Jakku doesn't deal with money, but in actual ration packs, because money doesn't have that much value because everyone is fucking poor and it's only wanting to survive. And the Hutts control the planet and they just pay the scavengers with very little ration packs. And Aliana can just pay them a lot because ration packs cost very little money and she has just a bunch of them. So far, this fanfiction sounds like, you know those Americans that go to like Thailand and other third world countries, they're like, oh my god, things are so cheap in here because people are so exploited, I can just buy anything. I guess I'm a little bitter about that because I live in Brazil and this hurts, man. Dollars at 5 reais right now. Please donate to my Patreon. So she made her way to the scrap dealer. She approached a miserable looking human, sat at the scrap table, morning tray, and she fucking like blows up his store. I'm not joking, this is what happens. Oh, because a stranded Sith hanging around your outpost, prepared for business. I mean, without this sensitive equipment would be terrible if there was. She extended a finger and a jolt of force lightning zapped a few small components, causing them to spark and explode. An accident. Holy shit! Why would you do that? You could have just said it. It's just like, it would be terrible if there was an accident. But she just went and exploded this guy's stuff. We later learned that she doesn't actually know a lot of mechanic shit. So she doesn't know what those components are, very probably. And she doesn't know if there could be some kind of chain reaction that would explode the entire fucking store. So I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you explode this guy's stuff? I'm already not liking this main character, I gotta tell you that much.
Pretty much the opposite of an objectionable character.
Okay, a young human girl was standing in the line up to turn in her scrap, and on the tray she was dragging was A hyperdrive coil. Okay, so what happens is basically this. The Hutts offer very little, that's not what is worth at all, and she just swoops in and offers a better deal. So the guy offered like half a portion of a ration pack. She was like, yeah, I'll feed you a proper meal and give you 14 double ration packs. All I ask in return is the coil for you to come to my ship and install it and your name. Okay, so here's the thing. You're a girl, think you're pretty. I'm going to give you an absolutely ridiculous amount of money slash food for this thing that I really need. What you need to do is to come with me and go there, like really far away. That's where I parked my ship. It's just, don't worry, it's completely, totally safe. This is totally not an implication moment, trust me.
Well, dude, think about it. She's out in the middle of nowhere with some dude she barely knows. You know, she looks around her, what does she see? Nothing but open ocean. There's nowhere for me to run. What am I gonna do, say no?
I'm not saying that no one would take this deal, but like in Chapter 4, Rey gets described as being naturally untrusting, and the least I am expecting from this is she being like, okay, does the risk of being sexually trafficked worth this amount of food? Because I mean, come on, can you imagine, like, you're a scrap dealer here in the real world, like, you collect cans or something, and then someone comes up like, I'm willing to offer you a lot for your cans. All you need to do is come with me to my van that's, like, really far away. Yeah, you can trust me on this one. Even if Rey hadn't seen her, she could practically feel the woman's eyes boring through her, and strangely enough, she was convinced that the stranger had been checking her out. This really funny thing that's like, okay, because Darth Amorosa doesn't want to tell her she's just Sith. Because for some reason she just doesn't want to do this. She has never been ashamed of it before, but she absolutely wants this person to like her. So her droid just greets her in front of everyone with like, oh hey Darth Amorosa, as if like being a Sith wouldn't be something that she would want to keep a secret, at least for, I don't know, strangers that she doesn't know if she can trust. She's just like, yeah, Robert, you can call me Darth Amorosa in front of everyone if you do that, but not this girl. I actually want her to like me. I'm not actually interested in other people liking me at all. I'm a cool renegade. I am a lone wolf. And there's this really funny moment in which they start talking about stuff and the narration actually tells us what they're talking about. There's this whole conversation. But then the fanfic kind of cops out. You'd think that one of the most important parts of this fanfiction would be them talking and actually finding things in common that they can talk about, or being like, oh man, I can actually open myself to this stranger, that's actually pretty nice. But then the fanfiction just go like, yeah, they totally talk about stuff and they totally found mutual connection within each other. I'm like, yeah, isn't that the entire fucking point of your entire fucking fanfiction, that is lesbians in space, and it's so much better that Rey can get with this lady instead of Kylo Ren? You're not even going to take much effort in it, are you? They are totally soulmates, and I completely expect you to believe this. Initially, Eliana had planned to smooth talk Rey into bed with her for the night and send her off in the morning. She'd done it so many times, it was practically second nature. But the more they spoke, the more uneasy she felt about it. It was as if, now that she got to know her, she didn't want to just sleep with her and throw her out the door. She liked this girl. Holy shit! Oh my god! Yeah, Rey wasn't like one of the whores that Eliana just fucked and then kicked out on the next day. Eliana actually liked Rey. Holy, oh my god! I can't believe she wrote this. I would be less offended if she just fucked Rey, honestly. Because I am very pro-sex. I'm Don't like slut shaming. Sex isn't bad, isn't something that you need to hold off if you actually like the person. And if you're too afraid of this looking like an implication, looking like a prostitution, you can switch the POV to Ray and be like, yeah, Liana is sexy, I totally boned her. I guess I could ask for more ration packs, but I'm willing to do it for free. She's just that sexy. Like, this is so funny. This is actually hilarious. Notes for new readers looking at the word count and wondering Ray and Aliana got together in chapter 14. Oh my god. You already have them like, oh, I totally fuck her. Oh, I think she's sexy, but really? Chapter 14? Yeah, I guess this is the right amount of time to wait. Because you actually like her instead of all the whores that you fuck and then throw out. When Ray finally packed up her things to leave, Aliana handed her a container filled with double ration packs. She didn't tell her, but Aliana had actually put 30 packs into the container rather than the 14 they had agreed upon. They shook hands. Aliana stood on the ramp of the fur as she watched Ray speed back into the desert. So you had 30 packs with you, and it's so cheap that you just have a bunch of them. You can give them whatever they wanted, and you decided to give this person that lives in a fucking desert planet scavenging parts only 14. Oh, because HUD totally shorts them out, they could afford to pay them much better. Bitch, so can you. What happened here? Like, you had 30 ration packs in your ship and you wanted to give this girl only 14, and they're like, wait, she's actually cool. She is less deserving of starving to death. And then you gave her 30. That's what happened here.
Pretty much the opposite of an objectionable character.
You see, I think that's really funny because what I think Lid is trying to do is she's trying to portray her OC as someone that is very charitable. Oh man, she just gives away what people want and need. She doesn't care about it. But here's the thing. Because she has so much, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean like she's really that charitable because she's not, sacrificing herself to provide charity. Okay, here's what I would do if I were to fix this fanfiction. First of all, don't do this. Don't make Aliana's charity be dependent on how much she likes the person. Be like, oh, I gave her 14 because that's what we agreed with. Maybe be like, I gave her 16 because I heard her talking and she talked about how her life was really hard and I felt pity on her. Not dependent on how much Aliana individually likes Ray as a person. Second thing I would do to fix this, like if she absolutely must give Ray something, I would do something personal. Let's say Ray says, oh, I really like your tools, they're really good. Or, oh, I really like this bobblehead you have in your ship, it's really funny. And then Aliana can give that as a gift to Ray, as something personal that actually means something. Third thing I would do to fix this, I would make it very clear that the ration packs actually mean something to Aliana and therefore she is sacrificing something by giving them out. Like, oh, I'm going to give her 2 extra ration packs. It's going to affect me. Maybe if I get stranded in space, I can starve to death because I don't have these ration packs, but I think she's much more dangerous than me, or I really like her, I think she deserves it, I want to do the nice thing for her. Make the ration packs actually mean something, so the charity act can actually mean something. And the fourth thing I would do is just skip the fucking ration pack thing altogether and just have it be money. And here's the thing. Money can be exchanged for goods and services. Even if it's a small amount of money, it still counts. Like she could get a massage on a chair on the equivalent of a galactic gas station or something. So we actually have the inherent understanding that this money could have been used to do something else, but she decided to not do that and decided to actually sacrifice something by giving her essentially the equivalent of a tip. So yeah, I think that is really funny. It's like, no, because you don't get it. Aliana is such a good person. She just gives 30 ration packs and she completely misunderstands what we people, normal people consider charity to be. It's hilarious. Okay, so Aliana fights Kylo Ren, super cool. And there's like a bunch of shit that's meant to tie with the movie, the happenings of the movie. And And I'm just going to skip it. None of you are here because of that. You are here because I want to talk about how this OC fucking sucks. I am very aware of it. Okay, so here's the essential what happens. Ariana gets involved, they meet Han, they meet Finn and Poe, and they split. Ariana and Rey get together on the ship for a while, and they need to go to a place, and Han and Finn are in the other ship. Okay, they talk a lot. Ariana is still hiding that she's a Sith, etc, etc. Okay, so they start with the cute nicknames towards each other, and I just wanted to take a guess on what was going on with Lily and Mikhaila's heads while they were writing this. I think that because they only watch children's cartoons, and because they do that, they don't know how adults interact. So their idea of people that mistrust each other and then they get to know each other and be friends is the idea of two girls in a school setting. One of them is kind of a bitch, but then kind of warm up to each other, kind of like the Owl House. They don't know how actual adults with actual traumatic past and responsibilities would react to each other. This is what it reads like. And let me tell you something. It's completely fine if you want to write your two adults as two high schoolers that are getting to know each other. Like, whatever, I don't care. You can do whatever you want with your shitty fanfiction. The thing is that if you're going to make such a big stink on YouTube about how your fanfiction is about trauma and it's about getting over it and it's about how life in capitalist space is bad and how we should totally take your characters seriously as humanity's morality compass, I expect better. I wouldn't normally be this annoying towards a fanfiction, but because Lily can't fucking shut up on YouTube about how great this is, I expect something better. Like, I am writing a furry fanfiction right now, and I'm not going to tell you about what it is, and I'm not going to provide a link, because if I do, I'm pretty sure you guys would fucking massacre me online. This is something that I expect a professional level of writing, because Lily put this in her professional level YouTube. And I gotta say, as far as this goes, this is not living up to standards. So I just want to close this by talking about this really funny scene that Kylo Ren goes and attacks Ariana again. Ariana easily defeats him without unsheathing her lightsaber because she is that badass. But then Kylo Ren goes and does a force push and pushes Rey like way out. She hits her head and she's unconscious. And Ariana stops fighting Kylo Ren to help Rey. That's right, folks, she failed the trolley problem. She decided that one life that she cared about was much more important than the other billions of lives that the First Order was dealing with. And honestly, that's honestly hilarious. I can't believe this. So I'm not saying that your characters cannot be flawed. And I'm not saying that your characters cannot develop. It's very clear that Ariana starts out as someone that wants to keep her peace and wants to keep herself away from trouble. And she later comes to like people and to be drawn to them and be like, yeah, I need to take sides, I'm going to protect my friends. With that being said, if you're going to put your character as a completely perfect moral compass in your fucking YouTube video, and if you're going to act as if the idea of messing up with a trolley problem makes you a horrible person, and if you're going to tell us that you don't even think that the discussion on the side of egoism would be bad, you just want to have this discussion, this makes you look like a gigantic fucking hypocrite. Like, you're not even gonna have Rey said, well, you should have killed Kylo Ren instead of saving me, that would have saved a bunch more lives. And even if we put all that aside, don't you have like a robot on the ship to bring Rey to the med bay? Couldn't you just, I don't know, couldn't you just force choke Kylo Ren while attending to Rey? I think that I see a lot of bailouts in the situation, but it's very clear what's going on. Those bailouts are not gonna happen. What is gonna happen is this. Lily wants a badass confrontation scene in which her OC gets to defeat the guy without even unsheathing her lightsaber. But she can't kill Kylo Ren because then the fanfic would be over. So she decides to do this instead. It's hilarious. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm not sure if I'm going to be talking more about this fanfiction because frankly I don't want to. I want to read actual good videos. If you made it this far, why don't you go and check out the rest of my content? It's pretty good.